Sweet. Alrighty then. What is up, UTech? What? Start over scratch. Sorry about that. I messed up. Now, what is up, YouTube land? It is Monday night, which means it is time for another edition of our online open mic. It is Monday, June 19th. And once again, we are here to bring you a night of poetry readings, short stories, storytelling, and hopefully music, any music. As always, my name is Richie David Marrufo. I'll be your MC and host today. And this is all brought to you by the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. There it is right there. If you haven't already, check out our archive of past shows. Sorry, I was getting emails about people trying to join the meeting here. So, okay, cool. It's like when I do my live open mics too, everyone always messages me at the wrong time, like when I'm getting ready, setting up, like, hey, save me a spot or whatever. Anyway, like any other open mic, this one is virtual. So we're going to be able to join with people from all over the country, from all over the world. But just like any other open mic, it's the rules are the same. If you want to perform, all you have to do is sign up. As soon as I finish my intro and we get to our list, I will update the description and I will add the link. So if you're watching right now and want to share, this would be the perfect night to do so. We have a pretty thin list, so it might not be too long of a show, but as always, we do count on some people joining at some point, joining in. That might include you. So if you've ever wanted to try one of these out and share any of your work, you're more than welcome to. Or if you just want to read a cover poem, the work of anyone that you'd like to maybe just introduce us to, whether it be a friend, a family member, someone that you respect, or of course, anyone in the canon or that you've read before that you just really want to share with the world. We do have slots for each performer, about 5 to 7 minutes. Again, seeing that it is a lighter list, we may have a little bit of more wiggle room. At the same time, I don't think we need to be doing any filibusters in here. For the sake of the attention of the viewers, we might not want to go too long, but of course, feel free to be more experimental. So if you've had any longer pieces that you've been wanting to try out, maybe this is the time to do so. Other than that, like I said, if you want to perform, you're more than welcome to join us. I will introduce each performer, where they're joining us from, and then maybe any relevant information that they've provided me. If not, of course, I always recommend that each performer maybe share their social media handles, websites, or any other helpful information, like where you can buy their books, find their stuff online on YouTube. I'm always a big fan of a link tree because it's one link for all the other links, and it just helps so much. It's nice and tidy, and I don't have to copy and paste a million links, especially on YouTube. What else should I say? The Juneteenth. So if you guys want to write or share anything related to Juneteenth, you're more than welcome to. It's also Pride. So if you want to share anything related to that, you are more than welcome to. But we never really do any themes or, you guys are welcome to share whatever you'd like. All right. What else? Further, I think if you guys are watching along, first of all, welcome. We did have a little bit of a late start today. I apologize for that. I always like to say wrangling poets is like wrangling cats. So, but that's not the excuse today. We were just kind of chilling. We were talking about in the green room before we started, and hoping, waiting for a couple more people to make it into the room. But alas, we are finally here. So if you are waiting, thank you for your patience. Or if you're just tuning in and we're notified that we went live, then let us know you're here. It always helps to know who's watching. I personally love it, and okay, not just me personally, I'm sure everyone else who performs really enjoys it when you're watching, but also you're participating in the live chat. It's kind of cool to put like a name to one of the viewers. And if you guys like any line or comment or piece of a poem, part of a poem, it just strikes you in any particular way, let us know, because that's another great way to get feedback as a writer or a performer, just to see what people are reacting to. That's really hitting them. All right, cool. So I think that is the spiel. I did have a spiel that normally what we do is I do want to emphasize that while we promote free speech, that there is a difference between free speech and hate speech. And, we let something slip through the cracks last week, unfortunately. I want to be better about catching that and addressing it as quickly as possible. So I apologize for that personally. and we'll try and be better in the future. But yes, just kind of be careful about the language we use. Most of us are pretty good with that. Otherwise, we'll be listening in, and we do want to celebrate free speech and people. So I just want to mention that. But of course, as a teacher, this is the part where I say it at the beginning of class, and like all the people who show up late don't get to hear it. So it's kind of one of those things. So maybe I'll just kind of repeat it throughout the show, just as a reminder. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. In our hometown, we are streaming from El Paso, Texas. As I like to say, we are live and alive in El Chuco, El Paso, and we're going to go ahead and tune in with one of our El Paso poets. Many of us are eagerly awaiting her upcoming collection of poems from Mouthfeel Press. Let's go ahead and welcome Robin Schofield. Hey, Robin, happy Monday.
Hey, Richie. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Good poetry. Good night for poetry. And yeah, my book, Ridge of High Pressure, is coming out in the first week of August, I believe. And that's really exciting. I'm going to do a reading for local people at the Writers Theater at Aaron and George's Film Cafe for sure. And then we'll see what else is going to come up. I'm also, I'm doing a Tumblewars workshop this Saturday, an ode to the ode. We're going to talk all about odes and look at some examples of odes. So that'll be fun. So I have a few poems, and then I'm going to read a cover poem by Rita Dove. This one is mine, called Mother Birds Have Flown. No neighbors pass inside my gate, while the hummingbirds punctuate petunia and flame anisacanthus. My mind is God poor. It's rough soil, transplanting the roots of Pavonia at the time for robins and hawks to cross sky paths. Desert willow blooms pink, but my mind is God poor. No neighbors pass inside my gate. I dig at the weeds outside the gate and lean on my hoe, which is God poor. I water the fruitless plum outside the gate. We will see if it survives the summer. Its leaves are yellowish and God poor. I think this plum tree is dead. I think I am out here watering a dead plum tree. Neighbors I don't see, my mind is God poor. And then this one is called Spinoza's Words Fail Him. And I was in England last year, and that's where I wrote this poem. And so it's got some English stuff in it. So the crow flew too close to the sun and scorched his voice. He croaks and doesn't sing like the melodious blackbird. Old earth, newly green fields out of which God and his attributes and a hawk rise. Sun streaking him, huge sun, minute globes in the dark forest, proportion and geometry slowly rotates. We also swirl in our madness for axiomatic proofs we don't feel. The title of my essay was Blood in the Garden, Rejecting Duality, the Many and the One, to make sense of the miscarriages. What rational, intelligible order, except the midges float over the flocks, their green blood is the logos, God and nature entwined. The newly planted wheat, root and leaf, the two sides. The green man with the mason's face, the material enters the spirit. The green and yellow meadow grounds my metaphysic. I am black blood and white bone, the duality incarnate. Is there a blackbird singing? May I lie fallow for a long while in pantheistic nature. Rain clouds follow me. I have seeds in me. I drop them numberless as the foxglove. No individual revelations, but I sprout up grapevines from my right hand. Mathematical methods should yield pure truth, growing and growing, everything within God, reaching around a stone column, huge sun glowing, looking over the priest's shoulder into his holy book. Deliver me as the crow sees me, deliver me, sunlit vineyard. And then this is called Elegy for a Book Lost in a Fire. I guess it was a long time ago now, but we had a house fire and I still remember, oops, some of the things that we lost. I changed my life. One must, as I perused the book about the forms of nature, conforming to the spiral of the Fibonacci series, snail shell, turtle, fish skeleton, dragonfly wingspan. The golden rectangle on the cover, the author, a Hungarian architect whose name I've lost. An oversized paperback of all the beauty and harmony in plenty of, oh, ouch, Myra. Okay, an oversized paperback of all the beauty and harmony in plenty of black and white illustrations of the structure of these numbers, a doorway's dimensions in the mind's eye, an entrance. I wasn't equal to figuring out his equations, so I took his word and his art for bond. I know beauty when I remember it, the secret code of the whirling cosmos, a sunflower. Seeds explode in its core according to this pattern, same as the spiral galaxy, ablaze with a billion stars burning into extinction. And then for my cover poem, I want to do a poem by Rita Dove, who was poet laureate for a while, I think. This is called 3 Days of Forest, a River Free. The dogs have nothing better to do than bark. Duty's whistle slings a bright cord around their throats. I'll stand here all night if need be. No more real than a tree when no moon shines. The terror of waking is a trust drawn out unbearably until nothing, not even love, makes it easier. And yet, I love this life. The 3 days of forest, the mute riot of leaves. Who can point out a smell but a dog? The way is free to the river. Tell me, Lord, how it feels to burst out like a rose. Blood rises in my head. I'm there. Faint tongue, dry fear. I think I lost you to the dogs. So far off now, they're no more than a chain of bells ringing darkly underground. So that's my Juneteenth poem, read by Rita Dove. All right, thanks everybody. I think I announced everything going on at the first, so.
You sure did. Thank you so much. Yeah. And you're always so really great about just announcing your own stuff and getting it. I love that. Robin, everyone, and of course showing some love to Rita Dove. I remember when I was teaching literature at UTEP and I got to teach poetry, that we used the Rita Dove edited compilation of poems. It was a pretty good collection. So I'll always remember her for that. Alrighty then. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the online mic. Want to give a shout out to Sandy, who is here in the live chat. Props. Good to have you here. We're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to travel a little bit north from where most of us are at, and we're going to stick around in the same time zone and check in with our friend in Denver, Mr. Mike Sindler. What is up, Mike? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Richie. First thing, get it out of the way. LighthouseWriters.org. Great place, wonderful opportunities. I just was doing Lit Fest this past week, which was mind-bogglingly great. Just getting to hang out with people like Forrest Gander and Patricia Smith and Susie Q. Smith and other great writers. Just cannot be beat. And I thought I'd just read one. I'm not reading some old stuff tonight rather than new stuff, but this is one, just being, in these classes that were at Lighthouse. And it was really nice because this is the first time we've been in our new building that we just opened up. So being in there with everybody writing together was wonderful. And so this is just a little triolet called Moleskines. A dozen Moleskines put to use, pin scratching marks like tiny claws, leaking out creative juice. A dozen Moleskines put to use, tunneling deep to find the truth. Dig for the roots, no time to pause. A dozen Moleskines put to use, pin scratching marks like tiny claws. And, we just passed Father's Day, and I thought I would do this actual true story. My dad, this is a sonnet called Last Conversation. Anything I can do to help? He asked as my father lay upon his deathbed. With a piercing stare, his eyes held mine fast. Stunned by revelation of what he said, I nearly broke down, slapped by emotion. But no, I'm okay, Dad, was my answer to the man who'd shown such pure devotion, held back tears and stifled nervous laughter. This precious gift, our last conversation, final fruit of love, light of transcendence. I'd soon wail in righteous lamentation, still glad for time spent in his attendance. Now often we're conversing, then I wake. He's still here with me, yet my heart aches. And boy, is that true. Can't tell you how many times I wake up and realize, oh, I was just hanging out talking with my dad. Nothing big, just dreaming about talking with my dad. But of course, the big thing this week has been Juneteenth. And so feel like I need to do something for that. And this one, again, a lot of people here have heard this. It's called Shade for Mark Bradford. What was is not what is. Layers pasted and torn back like the scar tissue that never heals. The black skin resilient yet aching from endless abuse. The cry of pain reaching out to cover the landscapes, broken, cracked, but indelible even in the face of attempts to obliterate. The charred skin of bodies lynched and left to rot showed these marks. The wild and vicious slashing of floggings and canings as well. And still, no matter how much is torn away, how intense the attempt to obliterate, to desecrate and destroy, there remains patches of proud, pure black, stubbornly holding fast to the canvas of history, refusing to be negated no matter how denigrated, how dismissed, how denatured, no matter how powerful the tug of forces straining to unlodge them and pull them from the story, to rip out native tongues and leave a dark pool of silence. But within these dark, inky depths, this black swamp of memory, a song vibrates, carried over burnt loam hills on fragile wings, wispy shadows lacing land with homespun pattern, lending definition and dignity. Anchoring chords of hope, wrote notes of defiance and resonating tones of resilient spirit. A song of knowledge, decrying that dormant within this world of thin and brittle, pasty and paltry, faded and fading, damned and doomed prejudice, lying in wait in the cold shadow of shade. The soft, pure richness of black will persevere. And I'll go ahead and put on that. And I'm going to do 3 poems by my favorite poet, period. And I'll start with one. And this, people don't really think about it. People know this poem and they love it, but they don't think about the fact that this poem is actually an answer to Walt Whitman. And it's called I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Beside, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. And this one, another one by Langston Hughes, is called Lament for Dark Peoples. I was a red man one time, but the white men came. I was a black man too, but the white men came. They drove me out of the forest. They took me away from the jungles. I lost my trees. I lost my silver moons. Now they've caged me in the circus of civilization. Now I herd with the many, caged in the circus of civilization. And this last one, very short, also by Langston Hughes, called Justice. That justice is a blind goddess, is a thing to which we black are wise. Her bandage hides 2 festering sores that once perhaps were eyes. Okay, thank y'all very much.
All right, thank you, Mike. Also, always great with going with Langston Hughes. I was going to look for my collection myself, but of course, as always, thanks for plugging Lighthouse Writers. That's amazing, and for sharing your own work. I always say it's cheesy, but man, you are our own lighthouse. So thanks for keep shining the light on us. And yeah, Langston.
But I appreciate.
Let me. Thanks. Kind of goes with our conversation in the green room earlier, but I don't care. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and continue on. Like I said, we do have a thin list, which isn't the end of the world. We're streaming. We're here. We got lots of people who want to share some work, so let's do it. We're gonna go ahead and stick around. Come back to El Paso, Texas, for our next performer. Man, this is probably the earliest he has ever gone on in a show that I can recall, because he's usually like in the middle of the show most of the time. But it is still Monday, which means it is time for Mr. Monday Night. Let's go ahead and welcome to the stage the one, the only Kit Ren. What is up, man?
What's up, Richie? How's it going? Yeah. Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. I'm gonna do a couple of mine and then 2 covers. Okay. Submitted a chat book. Please clap. I don't know if it'll work, but We'll see. This is in it. Of course it is. Whatever. Just read the poem, kid. Stop talking. All right. I want to talk about the things that don't matter as if they do. I want the only raised voices to be joyous. I want no unspoken tension. I want all negative emotions to be a playful ritual act. They can't be killed entirely, but they can be declawed, made subservient to a higher, kinder force. I want all tears to be performative and all smiles to be genuine. I want our differences to be topics of interest instead of means of control. I want every great work to be without an author. I won't ask anyone to forgive unilaterally, but I want everyone who seeks forgiveness to find it. I want their apologies to not be boilerplate or rehearsed, but spontaneous, and if possible, totally wordless. I want the nonpartisan roar of a football crowd that just saw what they cannot describe and don't care which team scores anymore. Their cheers will join as a white noise that never fades or resolves into signal until amazement is the only thing we can feel, until thank you is the only thing we can say. Let's see what's the other one going to be, because I don't remember. Yeah, okay. I probably read this one too much, but I like it. It's my favorite. If you're allowed to have favorites, and I say you are. I made that rule just now. Kit Ren 2023 says you're allowed to have favorites. And sadly, this one's always going to be relevant because there's always going to be some shit stirrer out there in the comedy community, thinks they can make a name for themselves, and they can't. It's useless. Who are you? Exactly. The comedians have renounced raunch and transphobia and hatred in general. They've seen their folly, they tell me. They credit me for their Damascene moment. They line up and say sorry and thank you as if it is all one word, a chant for newly shaved Hare Krishnas. They have set up this event, the first of its kind post-pandemic, to prove their sincerity to me. One approaches the mic and then another. They are all reading aloud from the same worn copy of Capitalism and Schizophrenia by Giles Deleuze. They pass the one copy between themselves as they all take their turn, going for exactly 7 minutes each. It has a used tag from a college bookstore, the University of Vermont. Yeah. Charlie the Catamount is just barely smiling at me from the crinkled sticker on the spine. Their faces as they perform are intense, and as the others sit and watch, they are rapt. One is taking notes. My companion and I retreat to the patio, and by her leave, I smoked my first cigarette in 4 years. One by one, the comedians follow me out, eager and pleading like seminary students. Is this better? Are we better now, kid? Have we made up for our sins and our wayward lives? The truth is, I don't know. Jesus Christ. The truth is, I thought I would always have to fight the comedians for saying one awful thing or another. I viewed it as a responsibility that I had to the scene. And the truth is, I have a middle management bred paranoia about what it means when a responsibility gets taken away. The truth is, I like to fight against the comedians so much that I never gave a thought to what victory would look like. The truth is, I confess to the one with the notebook, I haven't read very much theory. Please excuse the hand motions. I am playing fetch with an insistent dog as I do this. He has a warrior's heart. He will never give up. But the first of 2 cover poems is, these are both ones I've done before, but I like doing them, so I'm going to do them. This is my time. This is I Must Become a Menace to My Enemies by June Jordan. Dedicated to the poet Agostinho Neto, President of the People's Republic of Angola, 1976. I will no longer lightly walk behind a one of you who fear me. Be afraid. I plan to give you reasons for your jumpy fits and facial tics. I will not walk politely on the pavements anymore. And this is dedicated in particular to those who hear my footsteps or the insubstantial rattling of my grocery cart. Then turn around, see me, and hurry on away from this impressive terror I must be. I plan to blossom bloody on an afternoon surrounded by my comrades singing terrible revenge and merciless accelerating rhythms. But I have watched a blind man studying his face. I have set the table in the evening and sat down to eat the news regularly. I have gone to sleep. There is no one to forgive me. The dead do not give a damn. I live like a lover who drops her dime into the phone just as the subway shakes into the station, wasting her message, canceling the question of her call, fulminating or forgetful, but late and always after the fact that could save or condemn me. I must become the action of my fate. How many of my brothers and my sisters will they kill before I teach myself retaliation? Shall we pick a number? South Africa, for instance. Do we agree that more than 10,000 in less than a year, but that less than 5,000 slaughtered in more than 6 months will, what is the matter with me? I must become a menace to my enemies. And if I ever let you slide, who should be extirpated from my universe, who should be cauterized from Earth completely, law and order jerk-offs of the terrorist degree, then let my body fail my soul and its bedeviled lecheries. And if I ever let love go because the hatred and the whisperings become a phantom dictates, I obey in lieu of impulse and realities, the blossoming flamingos of my wild mimosa trees, then let love breeze me out. I must become a menace to my enemies. And the second cover poem, because we got a short list, so we're going to vamp a little bit, and it's okay. And this, in honor of the other holiday this weekend, Father's Day, this is one of the best poems about the father-son relationship and the subtleties it has. This is Those Winter Sundays by Robert Hayden. Sundays too, my father got up early and put his clothes on in the blue-black cold. Then with cracked hands that ached from labor and the weekday weather, made banked fires blaze. No one ever thanked him. I'd wake and hear the cold splintering, breaking. When the rooms were warm, he'd call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house, speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the cold, and polished my good shoes as well. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely opposites? I am house sitting, so I don't have my little papers, but Instagram Kit Ren Away, Twitter Kit Talk Sports, Ko-fi.com/Kit Ren. Find me on Facebook, the way you find everyone on Facebook. The Tumblewords Project, as Robin mentioned earlier, she's going to have the talking stick for this Saturday. And then in 2 weeks' time, it'll be me for July 8th. And the 15th, I have some plans, but I haven't gotten confirmation yet. And then the 22nd will be, they've come like a comet across our local scene, Fernando Montejano, and they'll be hosting on the 22nd and the 29th. Vale Larkin's going to have the talking stick. So we have quite a July shaping up, because every month's great, probably, if you have that kind of mindset, have the winner's mindset. Tumblewords can help you develop a winner's mindset. Now, who else is a winner? Is Richie. So let's turn it back to him.
Oh, awesome, man. Gotta say, that is something I feel like everyone should be allowed to put on their CV. I performed a poetry set while playing fetch, doing a little fetch in one hand, poetry over here. Check it out. No, thank you. Definitely, if you guys are watching and you want to get more writing done, definitely worth checking out Tumble Words. Sounds like a really great lineup for July. And also, yeah, shout out to Fernando. He's been helping out a lot. He's kind of had like a meteoric rise. I've definitely given him a lot of the reins for BWOMS stuff. So it's really cool to see him just active. So if you're watching, Fernando, thank you so much for all your help and work. And all you guys. And then Kit, thanks, Kit, as always. If you go back, we do have an archive of all of these shows all the way back to April of 2020. And on every single comment, you can see Kit has added timestamps. And that is really helpful, especially if you're trying to keep track of all your performances and all your work, and especially what you performed on a certain day. I know some people like keep spreadsheets of all that stuff, or just it helps them figure out, all right, what poem did I read on this day, or what can I read this week? What did I read last week? It helps people for planning. Some people do think about these kinds of things, but if you're kind of like me, shoot from the hip kind of guy, then yeah, it's worth just going back and revisiting some of your favorite performances from time to time. Alrighty, then we're gonna go ahead and stick around in Texas, and we're gonna visit a friend we had not seen in a while. That's right, it's Spike. Okay, no. Also, in front of Spike is Lungs of Dust. Go ahead and take it away. I threw you off with that one, didn't I? Go ahead and take it away.
You did. That was really funny. Hey guys, I'm so happy to be back. I know I haven't been on in a while. I wasn't not writing, but I wasn't writing a lot of like poetry, even though I was writing down a bunch of like one-liners that, I knew I was going to go back to. So I have a few things to read, and I think I'm just going to do a small little quote at the end. That's all I really got from someone. But all right. Also, all untitled. Can't help it. I wish I could write it off like a fever dream or a distant scream from long ago. When will I outgrow these silly storms from the past that keep circling my town, ready to touch down? The wind makes noises like the ones you described, the night you confessed that you're a wannabe scribe, needing players to play the game. Shame, shame, shame. On me, there's a heaviness I can't escape. I watch it take shape, a dreamscape made for a fool, so, so cruel. The windy mornings taught me that only lovers laugh come morning. The rest weep after the warning of the nightmares disguised as the lover's gaze. How do we survive that phase? I'll write you off. I'll write off your scam as a bad character sham. Hope your stories get buried and you stay married to the bottle you toast. In my story, you're a ghost that can only leave a scratch because I've yet to meet my match. So that one is my first one. If it's terrible, if that one was terrible, it's because I just wrote it like a couple days ago. All right, this is my second one. I'm sorry to wake you so late, but dear friend, I need you. It's past midnight and all I have is a sinking moonlight that gives me no shadow or hope as I walk its tightrope. It won't allow for rest to take over or sleep to take me under to the depths of its dreams so I can float atop its streams. Can you help me to close my eyes and let life take me day by day and kick the habit in my ashtray? Can you tell me stories of death and the things that you see? You'll always know more than me. I'm sorry to wake you so late. Here I am again at your gate. I never thought it'd be this grand. I wish I could turn it to sand. I'm sorry to wake you. I just need my angel to steer me right, let go of this spite and shed this blue and bring some sort of breakthrough. I'm sorry to wake you. I just need my religion because it's shattered all over the floor like a clay pigeon. That one is my second one. And then I'm gonna read the first thing I ever read live at BWOMS. And it's still like it's still stamped on here, June 7th, 2022, 11:38 p.m. because that was the last time I like edited it, you know? So I haven't touched it since then. And I probably just like changed like very minor things. So here's my 20-second set that I did back then. This one is this one's called "Will Turn Your Lungs to Dust." We spent the better part of our rebelling youth with the fire inside, not needing love letters. We were writing them all with every second that passed, like a spell that only passion can cast. All the towns we've burned down with just a glance, and that's just a taste of our romance. Two lovers on the run, turning everything to ashes. What do you expect when true love touches? They don't know what they're missing or even the havoc we create by reminiscing. And the only time we pause is to fulfill the prophecy that awaits, our colliding fates. I could speak on, but the sun's going down and you say, let's burn another town. And so that was that one from like, and I actually wrote that back in 2020, like March, but anyway, so I am going to leave this. I'm trying to find my thing. I'm gonna leave this with a quote from James Baldwin. And this quote is about writing. It's just something that he said. The whole language of writing for me is finding out what you don't want to know, what you don't want to find out, but something forces you to anyway. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. And as I like to say, that was everything. How can people follow and support you online if they choose to do so?
You can follow me on Instagram. It's currently the only social media I have. I'll probably get back on Facebook at some point. But it's Lungs of Dust, and you can follow me on there if you want.
Cool. And that was also in the poem. The title of the poem was like, there it is. There it is. But no, that's really awesome. Thank you for sharing those. Some really, really clever little rhymes in some of those pieces that I came to appreciate. That's why I wrote bars in the comments there. But I was just being silly in the comments too. So what is up, everyone? Once again, welcome to the online mic. That was Lungs of Dust joining us from Levelland, Texas. And genius move ending with Baldwin, always a great choice. A lot of killer covers poems today, I gotta say. All right, so next up, let me see. Let me take a look at the list. As I mentioned, we do have a shorter list today. Oh, wait, Terry Rose Jertson just signed up. So you will be added to the list. And also Ed is signed up, but I don't believe he is here yet. Yeah, he's not here. But that's fine. Right now we're gonna take a pit stop in Pittsburgh. Sorry, I couldn't resist. It's never just a pit stop. This is like the main event, the attraction. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna say hi to one of our favorite writers. Let's welcome back to the show, Vale Larkin. Hey, Vale.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. That was a nice little two-step. Okay, so primarily it is Juneteenth, and I'm going to read two pieces on that theme. But yesterday was also Father's Day, and some of us have different kinds of fathers. So in honor of my dear dad, I'm going to read the following poem, and trigger warning for just everything. No, trigger warning for childhood sexual abuse, rape, and other forms of child abuse. Bomb threat. Sticks and stones, as they say. The word trigger is defined as the component responsible for transmitting the signal of ignition to an explosive device. My very first childhood memories of my innocence ripping, like being torn into reality. The word made pain. I was 2 years old. My mother was not home. Words conjure ghosts. They haunt us. Hold on a second. Words conjure ghosts. They haunt us. To warn someone is to give them advance notice of an upcoming event or situation, potentially hazardous in some fashion. It in no way prevents the event or situation from proceeding as planned. When I was 11 years old, my mother ran in my room, said he had a gun, and hid in my closet. He walked in, smiling like he never stopped. I lied through my teeth, inside still as corpses. I was proud of this for many years, my fearlessness. I knew I was not loved. No one between me and my own bullet. Have you never bled from the cut of a verse? Language can be acid that eats through your heart. If I were to censor something creative, I would seek to restrict, revise, redact, prohibit, or destroy it. To describe a poem, a painting, or a photograph of a small girl has nothing like the same effect. When I was 12, the preacher's daughter and I slept over every weekend night. They did not bother us so much when we were together. When I was 13, a college boy wanted to date me. My parents approved in spite of myself. He raped me whenever he was home from school. When I was 14, the teacher hired me to clean his apartment. I didn't remember the rest. If language truly breaks no bones, if words bring no blood, how is it you feel so much? Empathy is the ability or willingness to accept another's experience as just as real, just as rabid and raging as yours. It is the willingness to hold someone's pain long enough to allow them a moment to ease it. When was the first time you remember being used? Do you feel sick or angry or saddened or grieved? And you've never been broken like some have been broken. Imagine reaching your wounds out for life-giving art and grasping on razor blades by surprise. If I thought it would show you, I would read you this poem with spikes through your eyes. Experience, it seems, is ever essential to understanding. And this next piece is in honor of Juneteenth, which is a holiday for Black Americans and really a day of responsibility for white Americans. I think this is the day where we donate our time. This is the day where we pay reparations and make plans for making reparations in the future. We educate our family members and friends who are even more racist than we are at this stage, and we pass down whatever knowledge we can glean, and we learn and learn and learn. So yeah, this is called For Whites Only. We've cast away our stones to take up rifles and explosives. We've taken earth and clay to build our monstrous cities, all green paved to gray, glass and metal like the teeth that eat through our mother in our quest for power, speed, and always, always more. We've cast away our friends, our fellow beings, lively and curious of us at first, but the fear in every eye we prey upon. And make no mistake, we have done this thing, and not all humanity, the very nature of us, but our specific caustic greed. Let me be clear, out of the north we've come, like a plague on all houses, like the last seal, like the flood, like nothing natural. We've destroyed where we might have learned. Look around. No, not now, not after, but before we marched them all into the sea. before we burned their homes and lives and past and futures, before we looked at the vast and glorious variety of our mother world and in our spiteful fear made of it an inferno. Millennia of feet trod lightly, learning their home, feeding her and following her ways. All those humans, all that variety and all understanding somehow where and to whom they belonged. We have slaughtered our own prophets. They were never going to be our neighbors. They were always going to be the dark-eyed wanderers, the strangers in our strange and passing lands, the shamans, the wisdom-bound, the arcane and obscure, and the so very unlike our rigid, stringent, jealous priests. We've beaten our plowshares to missiles. We've mined our mother hollow. We did this, you and me. The rest of you can just ignore this. And this this last piece is a relationship of mine that is no longer going on, but was still very important to me. And this poem came out of that relationship, and it's very important to me still. So, and it's I think of it when I think about racism and the things we do to try to solve that problem. We visit a painting of two seated men for Kingston Nolly. I am watching him standing and looking at them, my beloved with his strong black reflected back from the two painted figures, facing each other from either side of the canvas. He speaks of fathers and journeys to faraway lands. He speaks of wars, of brutalities, and the stench of the blood of men like his father in the streets. My beloved in the painting make a shape, a triangular conduit he can link into, blood, history, and power flowing around him. He speaks of his childhood in the strange pale place we call home, both of us, where he speaks Mende with family, but has erased his Texas accent. He speaks about grandmothers who crept past soldiers, arms laden, to escape to a larger, steadier, and more secure country most of his peers have never heard of. He speaks of wars most of his peers have never heard of. He speaks of home, that faraway land of his ancestors, of his mother and father, of his grandmother again, now that she can return from Guinea after the war, that most have never heard of. He looks at the men in the painting. I am not in this picture. I am the inverse, the looming white space they defiantly inhabit. Their power relates to me only in that the press of their muscles against tyranny highlights them. He talks about knowing how many of his people were wrenched, not about knowing how many of his people were wrenched over the ocean. Mende spoken in Georgia, the Carolinas, and Louisiana now. He talks about being one of those left back, still home in their pillaged nation. He talks about going home, where thanks to the Christians, he will always be endangered. He is a strong black man, but they will kill him if they disagree. I am silent and in awe. We talk about chains that come without iron, with Bibles and leaflets and sips out of thimbles. We talk about chains that grow link after link from the ones left behind to the missionaries, to the wars against teachers, to far off lands where the cab company employs more doctors than the hospital, and where a father, pressured to warping, blames his son for his survival. I am not in this picture. I am blank space. I am the absence here of home, of history, of trust. Trust, like a triangle, like a circle of black stars signaling synchronized to one another across the spaces, the voids, the pale, pervasive others. He turns to me, eyes wide up, forehead clear, wide, and the circle of his people opens wider, and momentarily I am whirled up into it, the shape of trust. And I remember our roots, and how they all tangle together and where we all come from. The circle, the dark of the earth. Thank you.
All right. I don't know if you could have seen the Zoom rectangles. We were clapping, making some noise there for you silently in our boxes. I love that piece so much. It's been cool to see that develop too from earlier on. But thank you so much. And you do have an upcoming event? Yes, I see that.
Mid-July. Yes, mid-July. It's going to be the 15th or the 18th. Still TBD. Hosted by Elemental from Monday Nights at the Nuyo, at the Nuyorican, and some contos who a lot of people probably know from being just a bonkers poet.
I love that. Bonkers poet. Yeah, shout out to some Conto Elemental. I'm looking forward to that. We'll share the links. Thank you so much, Bill Larkin, everyone. Oh man, what another excellently curated set for today. Thank you so much. Yay. All right. So once again, thanks for tuning in to our online show. We're here every Monday night. If you are watching us live and want to join us, if you want to perform yourself, all you have to do is sign up. There is a link in the description of our YouTube video. That is, of course, while we are still alive. Sorry, while we are still live, obviously while we're still alive too, I hiccuped while saying live, so I didn't want to be misheard that way. But yeah, when we were still live. All right. Hey, we're gonna go to New Jersey. We've had a couple of new people sign up, including this next performer. She has the Chameleon Poetic Cash App and her book out, the Chameleon Chronicles. Let's go ahead and welcome back to the stage Terry Rose Jurtson, aka the Chameleon Poetic. Yo, Terry, what's up? How you doing today?
Just fading. I'm starting to get tired. I'm keep nodding off. So I wanted to read something in the New Rican earlier, but everything was like it was a theme of civil rights today for Juneteenth, and like my poem was just repeating the same thing everybody else was saying, basically, but just in a different way. That's what I was feeling about it. So I had another piece that has nothing to do with it that I wanted to that I'm working on, that I kind of wanted to run by everybody, see what you think. But then I don't feel it's relevant right now. It doesn't have anything to do with Juneteenth. So I am going to read 7 Cries for Justice first, and then I'll read the other one. These are haikus, so it'll go fast. Injustice, George Floyd. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. There is no justice. Breonna Taylor. I raise a cry for justice. Her death travesty. Murdered while sleeping, no defense, no protection, breaking into homes. No Miranda rights, shoot first, ask questions later, gunfights, no insights. Children are dying, just watching a football game, caught in the crossfire. Death penalty rules, in the wrong place at wrong time, innocent life gone. Young Black man accused, life incarceration lie, wrongly imprisoned. So, yes, that's from my book, The Chameleon Chronicles. And you can just, if you're interested in my book, you can message me on social media, on Facebook, on Terry Rose Jurtson, or on IG under The Chameleon Poetic. So this poem here is about bikini wax, which has nothing to do with anything, but it's just an experience that I had recently. So I thought it was funny, and I didn't really, it's evolving. I just, yeah, have any pointers you can give me afterwards. I'm just gonna read it. Back in Roman times, about 27 BC, to 4076 AD, there were a bunch of bards of the Beardos that thought hair removal was cool. Jesus, not so much. Also, Roman and Grecian gods and goddesses thought better of being hairy, and the trend took hold in Asia in the 12th and the 13th century, after which it waxed and waned and lost its appeal until now. While it remains unclear who I should thank for this hairless honor, Cleopatra and her entourage or Egypt's pharaohs, Jezebel gave a peep show. Either way, better to know your chiseled physique. Deep diving doesn't require such extremities, but I guess for the record, seafarers may see far better when searching for buried treasure for the prized jewel, the desired target. Aim here, please. I want to stop for a minute. So right there, I was going to sing something, but I don't think it fits. So, I'm going to just skip over it. What I was going to sing was from Queen, that song, Don't Stop Me Now, but not the whole thing, just, don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, then give me a call. That part. And then, and I was going to say, and as the song goes, yet the persistent questions remain to be answered. My mind will not settle until I know about the tech who performs this delicate or not so delicate operation, slathering on the hot wax, engulfing private parts, spreading the petals, and treating it as if this is not the most awkward moment of your life. Casually giving directions to take everything off on the bottom, jump on the table, and open those butterfly wings. Oh, are we going to start here first? I was also getting my legs done. I thought you were going to start there. No? Okay. What shall we talk about? Where shall we look? Take a deep breath, she says, and rip! Bring back the bush. Movement on hiatus. So, I don't know. It's kind of all over the place, but I felt like when I first wrote it, it wasn't enough. And then I added to it. Now I feel like it's just all over the place. So I don't know what needs to go, what needs to stay.
Well, feel it out. You see what works, what feels right, what doesn't.
Editing and editing.
True.
I was hoping you guys would give me your opinion. Maybe this isn't the place for it.
We got the play by
not
play
on camera.
Just try it out different ways each time you perform it, Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it better when I first wrote it, but now it's like getting on my nerves.
Well, say about killing your darlings.
Yeah, I know, right?
You may just need to put it aside for a little while and come back to it.
I guess I wanted it to be better, and I just, whatever.
Cool.
That's how I feel about all my poems.
Yeah.
You wanted them to be better?
We've all been there. Did you have one more or?
I'm looking. I have one that that one's kind of long. All right, I need to go off camera though, I think, for it, unless you can still see me when I go into my notes.
I don't think so. Try it.
Still
We'll
see
see.
me? I like this workshop thing I was in, and we were learning how to do epigraphs. And epigraphs are like you take somebody's line out of a poem or a quote or something, and then you just write to that. So there's 3 of them. And the first one was, well, actually it's 3, 2, 1. I did it backwards. But so the third one was how I carry shame and burden across my chest like a purse. I ain't woman. In lieu of flowers by Shaki G. And this is what I wrote to that. Vile individuals in charge of children cause them to be ashamed and damaged, their spirits beyond repair. Thank God, children can be resilient. There is no excuse for what they did. They were damaged individuals who left their mark on me and other innocents. We walked with heads bowed and shoulders slumped. We dared not make a sound. And then I should have gave a trigger warning with that one, I guess. Epigraph 2 was no fragile bodied creatures, steeped in homage and holiness. Not a one of them wears wings. And that's from Lovely and Suffering by Stacy Dyson. So for that, I wrote the thing that happened. So a couple of months ago, I called a church that was referred to me by Glassboro Food Bank. And oddly enough, the name of this church was Heaven's Wings. I work for a social service agency, and it is part of the job at times to pick up food for a client. On this particular occasion, I was picking up for a client with 5 kids. Being my first time there, I did not have instructions except to go to the back door of the church, which I did. When I got inside, there were a couple of people. One was vacuuming, the other was far off in the distance getting food together for someone else. There were food in bags already packed up, but no instructions what to do. Standing there for a minute or two, no one assisted me, so I was about to take matters into my own hands. Just as I was about to grab a bag of food, I was approached by a sister in Christ who started asking me what I was doing. I explained why I was there, and she said I need to go up to the front door and register with another wingless worker. But don't let looks deceive. This worker's wings were tucked up her sleeves. I said, sorry, it was my first time here, and I explained that I started putting things in this bag. And the sister in Christ said to leave that bag over there and sounded upset. Sister of the church said that bag is not for you. As I was going up to the front, I heard her be-atching about me to the other saints of God. And epigraph number 1, who knew hindsight could really be blind? By A.J. Houston. One of the many things that is blind, color blindness, used to be where everything was looked at as gray, monotone. Certain colors were indistinguishable from others. When referring to people, it has a different connotation. Colorblind can refer to a person who is not aware of cultural disparities and turns a blind eye to this by saying it doesn't exist. 2 weeks ago, the house next door to me caught on fire. The families got out okay, but everything in the house was destroyed by smoke. The family stood out in the street all day, waiting for the fire to be put out and for the Red Cross to come and take them to a hotel. Last night, I heard gunshots. Today, I heard screaming. A man is still screaming outside right now. So those were my epigraphs.
Right on. Cool. Thank you. And really quick, how can people follow you online if they're tuning in and seeing you for the first time?
Facebook, it's Terry Rose Dirtson, and on Instagram, it's The Chameleon Poetic.
Chameleon Poetic. Thank you so much. Glad you could join us, and thanks for sharing all those pieces. This is a rare one. You usually like go really fast, and you're like, all right, I'm done. But you're like, all right, here's some stuff I've been working on. We always love to hear it. What's the workshopping stuff? Thank you so much, Terry.
Thank you
for joining us today. Alrighty then, let me pull up the list. Once again, guys, welcome. Once again, shout out to Sandy on YouTube. Left a really nice comment about spending time with us since the pandemic and usually getting some cooking done while listening to everyone do their things. So just wanted to relate to all of you guys right now who are always here. So she was expressing that gratitude. Wanted to share that with you guys. All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and keep going. Next up, don't know what we have today. Are we gonna see some more time tacos? Are we gonna see some music or hear some music? We'll find out. Right now we have Mr. Tezo Somok back in the house. And how's it going, Tez?
Hey Richie, good to be here with you. And
nice.
El Paso Barbed Wire open mic, Monday night open mic. I have 1 and 1. And I have this piece I wrote today. It's titled The Speculative Repatriation of Don Gargajo. In Delano, the H2B housing park, all the old timers would call him the Sensontle de Chinches Calientes, an appropriate nickname for his apt whistling ability. Where he was working, you could find him by his inexpensive non-electronic musical instrument. Don Gargajo was a hard-working middle-aged man in his 40s. He hailed from the region of Zacatecas, Mexico, and he had worked as an H2B farm laborer for several years. Despite his struggles and hardships, Don Gargajo was proud of his roots and his resilience. He was known for his infectious smile, upbeat personality, and a cheerful demeanor. He had a rugged and weather-beaten appearance that reflected his years of physical labor in the fields. Don Gargajo claimed to know English, although his proficiency in the language was somewhat limited. He learned the basics by watching old episodes of the American television Western drama Bonanza. He enjoyed communicating with his American counterparts and often used his limited English vocabulary to strike up conversations. Although his grammar was flawed, he communicated effectively and was eager to improve his language skills. Don Gargajo was quite vain and reveled in reminiscing about his heyday. He often shared stories of his youth and past accomplishments in self-indulgent manner. He boasted of his strength, stamina, and virility, which he believed were still intact despite his advanced age. Don Gargajo's vanity was also reflected in his appearance. He took great care to dress well on Sundays, his only day off, and his attire was always immaculate. His hair was slicked back and styled in a 1950s pompadour, and he sported a well-manicured mustache. One day, one of the workers noticed that there was no sign of Don Gargajo showing up for work. They passed by and he was still in no show. It wasn't until the evening when his colleagues decided to check on him, which was when the gruesome scene was discovered. Don Gargajo's lifeless body was sprawled on the floor of his H2B housing. He had apparently passed away alone from natural causes. The news spread quickly amongst the farm workers, and soon enough, the farm owners were notified. When the farm owners discovered the tragic news, they immediately called the authorities to investigate the death. Unfortunately, it was discovered that Don Gargajo had no family or close friends who could be contacted. His other co-workers, who were his only acquaintances, had no inclination to claim his body or arrange for his funeral. They had already rummaged his goods and recycled any savings he might have had at hand. All they knew was that he was from Chinches Calientes, Zacatecas. Seeing no other choice, the farm owners contacted his son, Gargajito. Gargajito is the son of Don Gargajo. He is a typical nini youth from a Mexican village who is obsessed with his appearance and always shows off a lifestyle he cannot afford. He is sponsored by the remittances from his father's work abroad. He's tall and lean with sharp facial features. He has thick curly hair that he keeps gelled up into a high spiky pompadour. His wardrobe primarily consists of flashy clothes that are high in fashion but low in quality. He wears tight denim jeans, brightly colored shirts like the narco corrido singers, and expensive sneakers. Gargajito is an arrogant and overconfident in his abilities. He loves to show off. He's always looking for ways to gain attention. He believes that he is better than everyone else and has a sense of entitlement. He's often dismissive of the hard work his father does as a farm worker and complains about the lack of luxury he has in his life. Despite his arrogance, Gargajito is not as popular as he thinks he is. He has a small circle of friends who are also ninnies who also live off the remittances from their family members working abroad. They often spend their nights drinking, partying, while their families back home struggle to make ends meet. Gargajito stood before the bustling consulate clutching a worn photograph of his father, Don Gargajo. His eyes were filled with grief and confusion as he entered the imposing building, unaware of the bureaucratic obstacles that awaited him. The first obstacle materialized in the form of paperwork. Gargajito approached the information desk, hoping for guidance, only to be handed a pile of forms and documents to fill out. His trembling hands struggled to grasp the magnitude of the task. Why did he need all these papers just to bring his father home? As he painstakingly filled out each form, Gargajito's mind wandered back to Chinches Calientes, where they would have buried his father already. In their small town, when someone passed away, the community would come together, dig a grave, and lay their loved ones to rest. Gargajito couldn't fathom why it had to be so complicated here. With the completed paperwork in hand, Gargajito approached the counter, hoping to move closer to his father's remains. However, the second obstacle appeared, the labyrinthine process of obtaining a death certificate. The consulate required proof from the foreign authorities, and official document that seemed perpetually out of reach. Gargajito's frustration grew as he faced the agonizing reality that his father's remains in a distant land, unclaimed and unrecognized. Days turned into weeks, and Gargajito found himself caught in a web of bureaucracy, bouncing from one department to another. Each step forward seemed to be followed by 2 steps back. The grief that had consumed him transformed into anger and despair. He yearned for the simplicity of Chinches Calientes, where the community would rally around their bereaved neighbors, easing the burden of loss. His journey through the bureaucracy of death had turned into a Kafkaesque nightmare. Gargajito's heart ached as he witnessed the countless others just like him navigating this complex web. Their tears and frustration echoed through the consulate's corridors, a symphony of grief that seemed to fall on death's ears. All right, I need a water break. Okay. Let's give this a little shot here. Sorry, I'm trying to line up. You move away from the page, and Google Docs moves your page, and then it doesn't line up. It doesn't fit everything on the page anymore. So the lyrics on this piece are not mine. They're a poem from the 1800s, I believe. The arrangement is mine, and it is a piece that have struggled in ways of learning and also performing, memorizing, and appreciating. And this is we'll do a couple of minutes of this, and then we'll see how you guys like it. It is an ancient mariner, and is stopping. stop it. Allow me. The bridegroom door I rolled and I'm next of kin. The guests are met, the Miss hear the merry he holds them with his skinny hand. There was a ship, quoth he, hold off, unhand me, as soon as hand he holds them with his glittering eye. The wedding guest is still listen like a 3-year-old child. The mariner had it so I'm gonna stop here because my hand is killing me.
Right
So
on,
what do you
man.
guys think of that?
Yeah, thanks for sharing. We got some likes on there, some visible likes. Use the emojis if you guys want to. There.
Obviously, that's half of part one. We still got 6 more parts.
The 6-part epic. Alrighty then. Cool. Thank you,
7 parts.
Tiz.
It's 7 parts.
There you go. More. There's more. All right. Cool, man. So do you have anything coming up you want to promote or share really quick?
No, just writing a lot. I'm finishing Act 1 of Time Taco, so we'll get into the point of no return of Act 1. So I'm fixing that up. So hopefully next week we'll be able to share that. Folks can follow me on Instagram under Gaseous2019 and Pandemic Poets on Facebook. Thank you, sir.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. I definitely make sure to share the link to sign up the weekend before Sunday at the latest. Now Monday at the latest, the day of. But I'm trying to be better about that. By the way, if you guys do want to sign up for next week, it is already available. That was also true for today's show. So I'm going to try and be better about like reminders that they're already out there. But for next Monday's show, it is already available. So if you want to sign up, you're more than welcome to, or wait a little bit closer to the weekend. It is there. Also, a really good strategy is we do have a link tree. The one we have has the option so you can subscribe. So you'd be notified either through email or text message. I believe you have an option, however you want to be notified. And every time I put a new link, especially the sign up link, I send a notification to people who are subscribed. So it's a really good way to keep up with stuff. And of course, if you are watching us on YouTube or have ever watched us on YouTube, if you subscribe, you'll usually be notified anytime we go live if you click the little bell in the options when you next to the subscribe button. Anyway, we got a couple more performers. I'm looking up for some cover poems I might want to read, possibly as the penultimate reader. But right now, we're going to go to Washington, D.C., and we do have Mr. Eddie P in the house. Ed, you made it, man. We're always happy when you make it in. Glad you're here. Happy Monday. Go and take it away.
Thank you. Happy Monday. It's always a happy Monday when you're at Barbed Wire, where you inspire to go higher, higher, and higher. Woo! All right. My name is Ed Potastic. Oh, we need to grab a cup. Oh, well, a visible cup. Cheers, saloon. All right. My name is Ed Potastic, fantastic. Please get a time to enjoy my rhyme off the sublime. I got 3 pieces, so you know I'm gonna rhyme. My first piece is called Rooted Shadow. Sometimes blood is thicker than water, no direction, guidance, or father. My blood was boiling hotter, hotter, and hotter. My clear tears feel like raging salt water. A swollen heart burst from confusion, chasing questions about an easy end. I got into so many inner executions. I couldn't comprehend the struggles that transcend. A shadow dancing on eggshells, nails, and glass, praying for God to offer a holy sign. You know, a little sunlight for his little grass. Too bad the line to divine was declined. I was alone with a name I didn't understand. Had an empty heart and even emptier hands. I bathed in emptiness alone as firsthand, trying to understand the foggy meaning of how to be a man. Every single Father's Day, I was completely alone. There is no joys of celebrating past times. The grief is slowly melting my bones. I was young, yet I wasn't in my prime. My whimpering cries fall on deaf ears. No light in my mental cave. The inner mocking of my fears. My depression comes in millions of waves. My existence flickering in the chaotic storms. My mind boggling the concepts of who am I. The echoes wishing I wasn't born. I couldn't see a glimmer of light in my inky sky. While I learned the deepest depth of life, the virtue is that you really don't need family. Yes, life is full of inner and outer spite. Truly love whoever you are, but don't be hazily unhappy. Remember that empty loneliness is a great teacher. Whenever you plant a tiny seed, be there to make it stronger and never weaker. Do whatever necessary to proceed to make him or her succeed. Thank you. And I got Crooked Flag. It's not made of red, blue, or white. It's made from ruby tears. Why is American history right? To control our gears. Our ancestors, Black and Native Americans, suffer from the patriotic game. We do whatever we can. It's bigger history to blame. Our ancestors slaved to build these pillars in the scorching heat, frigid rain, and below zero snow. After all that, they weren't the winners. Why does the contribution come so slow? I hate the founding fathers putting my ancestors in chains. I hate the pilgrims who kicked the Native Americans off their land. Both groups are dealing with backstabbing pain. Now, do you wholeheartedly understand? It's history, covered with sweet bitter lies. For what? To preserve a false patriotic image. Many mothers, daughters, sisters, brothers, fathers die. This is the truth. Don't be scared or get skittish. What do? They paint over the hideous marks. We all want to taste the American dream like you. Please stop feeding the blinded sharks. You can choose, but what do you have to lose? It's sad. This is supposed to be a land of opportunity, but took away mine and others' dignity. No. It's not a battle of femininity and masculinity. It's not about gender, but him, her, you, I, and we. I know it hurts, but like everything else, it is flawed. Larry Larry is mute. She can't sing. Why? Her voice been outlawed. It's not peachy or okay. People die from this bloody American facade. You know what to think or say. At least it gotten you out of that ancient mirage. Whenever you look at the flag, ask yourself, does it truly represent you or me? Yeah, I know it's a huge drag. Dangling the sun and clouds, pretending we are free. Thank you. And I got one more. This little spice to say the least, but little disclaimer so no one gets hurt. This guy, mom, dad, language, so many different standards. So please mind word for his page. I just want to burst some cages. I consider her eyes went big. Don't worry, it'll be nice and short. This is called the Naked Mile. Here I stand naked. Your soft flesh is wide open. A whisper of lustful moans into the air. Our blood is boiling over and over again. Their lust leaves our bodies bare. Here I stand naked. My flame has grown to epic proportions. An ember is burning between my center. Our midst erotic sense of tantalizing devotion. Let our warm bodies shimmer and get a bit thinner. Here I stand naked. The bedroom soaked in a sexual overflow. The passion starts to ignite all around. Our bodies are creating a smoldering halo. Our mouths making lewd, raw, and explicit sounds. Here I stand naked. I peered into your bleak, thirsty eyes. Our tongues collect the bitter and sweet jolts. Our hungry bodies dance while our loins cries. The stimulation is coming in by the millions of volts. Here I stand naked, gradually thrusting in an up and down direction. Then her flame delivers while our legs quiver. Our bodies lost themselves in instinctive, steamy chain reaction. We quickly dance while our bodies shiver. Here I stand naked. My harness caresses the abyss of your soul. The groans and moans we quickly swallow. Our mild displeasure went instantly hollow. We're burning away our doubtful inner shadows. Here I stand naked. Our lungs are full of indescribable rampant energy. Heartbeat stuck in harmonized, electrified awakening. Our naked flesh spread out into a deep degree. Our minds kept constantly coming, yet we couldn't stop grinning. Here I stand naked. Our chest rub against chest, and sweat rub against sweat, a docile collision of two sparks, the physically eclipse of our burning silhouettes, our burning vibration throughout our hearts. Here I stand naked, my mask disappearing deep into your pink abyss. Our bodies float tenderly upwards, the passion of our new definition of bliss, a new feeling of euphoria we discovered. Here I stand naked. We have short breaths of air bursting past our lips, our rapid hips lost in rampant synchronized movement. We're moving and moving faster than any whip, the electrifying fulfilledness of improvement. Here I stand naked. We're feeling the wild, bursting sensation, the feeling swirling and twirling inside our groins. Our minds teleported towards a milky, bleak vacation, the orgasmic pressure unleashed inside our loins. Here I stand naked. Our deep structure easing into our domain, our whispered burning intentions, the stimulating yet enticing crimson rain, the lewd acts of soft, piercing interceptions. Here I stand naked, the sun shining throughout the bedroom. Our bodies are exhausted from dancing. The radiant sun starts to consume our tomb. There goes our midnight romance of joyfully relaxing. Thank you. That wasn't all bad.
Oh man, it certainly isn't. It's been a while since I've heard you spit some erotica on here. I gotta say this. I feel like I mentioned a lot, but I think something really underrated about you, Ed, is your ability to like change the voice of your persona in a lot of your poems and poetry. And so I love it when your erotic poems you bring out the rough, dark, deeper, gravelly voice, and I appreciate that, man. How can people find and support you online? Yeah, man. You know how we doing this. What you got going on this week you want to promote, or how can people find you online?
Oh, you can find me online while coming to this wonderful open mic that makes our night so delight in a wonderful protested spotlight. Barbed wire burning so much fire, making us and everyone burning so higher and higher. Woo! But you want to follow me, please feel free. My Facebook's Eddie Foreman and my IG's Eddie from 92. And remember, if the mic is right, I'll be there to shine, put us an insight. You send me a question, you take guess. The answer is yes. Hope everyone stay safe, healthy, and blessed. Never stop spewing one of the words outside your chest. And never stop being and feeling and looking your best.
Oh yeah, thank you, Ed. I find myself always nodding along in agreement with you, like I'm nodding along to a beaten song, usually with that outro. So thank you, sir, for that, and of course for the set. I appreciate you dropping something new and different. That's always really great, for as long as we're doing this. And also, I gotta give you props. You asked for permission beforehand. I'm like, hell yeah, go for it, man. Share what you want to share. So thank you. All right. I'm going to share a quick cover poem because it's been a while since I've probably shared one. And this is one I've been wanting to try out for a while. I've never tried it. This is from the collection A Love Song, Death Rattle, and Battle Cry from Guante, also known as Kyle Tranmeyer. And this is 10 responses to the phrase man up. 1, fuck you. 2, if you want to question my masculinity like a schoolyard circle of curses, like a sword fight with lightsaber erections, save your breath. Because contrary to what you may believe, not every problem can be solved by growing a pair. You can't arm wrestle your way out of a chemical depression. The CEO of the company that just laid you off does not care how much you bench. And I promise there is no light beer in the universe full-bodied enough to make you love yourself. 3, man up. Oh, that's the new superhero, right? Mild-mannered supplement salesman Mark Manstrong says the magic words man up and then transforms into the 5 o'clock shadow, the massively muscled, deep-voiced leather duster wearing Superman who defends the world from, I don't know, feelings. 4, of course, why fight to remove our chains when we can simply compare their lengths? Why step outside the box when the box has these badass flame decals on it? We men are cigarettes, dangerous and poisonous and stupid. 5, you ever notice how nobody ever says woman up? They just imply it because women and the women's movement figured out a long time ago that being directly ordered around by commercials, magazines, and music is dehumanizing. When will men figure that out? 6, the phrase man up suggests that competence and perseverance are uniquely masculine traits, that women, not to mention any man who doesn't eat steak, drive a pickup truck, have lots of sex with women, are nothing more than background characters, comic relief, props. More than anything, though, it suggests that to be yourself, whether you wear skinny jeans, listen to Lady Gaga, rock a little eyeliner, drink some other brand of light beer, or write poetry will cost you. 7, how many boys have to kill themselves before this country acknowledges the problem? How many women have to be assaulted? How many trans people have to be murdered? We teach boys to wear the skin of a man, but we also teach them how to raise the skin like a flag and draw blood for it. 8, boy babies get blue socks. Girl babies get pink socks. What about purple? What about orange, yellow, chartreuse, cerulean, black, tie-dyed, buffalo, plaid, rainbow? 9, I want to be free to express myself. Man up. I want to have meaningful emotional relationships with my brothers. Man up. I want to be weak sometimes. Man up. I want to be strong in a way that isn't about physical power or dominance. Man up. I want to talk to my son about something other than sports. Man up. I want to be who I am. Man up. 10, no. All right. And that is Guante. Been wanting to try that one out for a while. Think that'd be really fun to read in front of a crowd, especially maybe for people who really need to hear that too. But without further ado, let's go ahead and, as we often do. Oh, by the way, I brought out the pink light. You know, Ed started spinning some erotic. I'm like, okay, let me throw on a cool little pink light, you know, get a mood going. Shout out to Julian as well for checking out the YouTube show. I see you there. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and bring up our closer. That is right. It's the 9th inning. Bases are loaded and we need to close up the show. So without further ado, we're going to call to the bullpen, the right-hander. It is also his Monday of his 30s, which is a momentous. I'm sure he'll talk about it. Ladies, gents, NBs, go ahead and welcome to the stage, Mr. Dan the Man. Go ahead and take it away if you're still with. Hey, what's up, man? You do have audio. You have audio issues.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, now. Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. As you may know, every single birthday, I always wear this shirt of Homer Simpson, Homer Rocks, because it was a gift for way more than it was a gift for over 14 years of one of my primary best friend, Catherine, who gave me this shirt when it arrived before my birthday, and I decided to wear it. And oh, that's not evil, Homer. Yeah, well, I wore this shirt every single day, of my birthday. So yeah, always on the June 23rd of my birthday, I always wear this. So yeah, so that represents my birthday. Except the one 5 years ago where my nephew Joseph gave me this T-shirt all the way from Disney World, which was a gift from my nephew, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, thoughtful of my nephew Joseph. It was nice of him. I only wore that for one day, and then I went back to wearing this. So kind of like a tradition, except for one, yeah, yeah. And even though, speaking of birthdays, well, what can I say? Last Sunday, besides Father's Day, oh, what a day. Yep, I was at the groom of the Alamo Draft House. Oh, look at this louse. There it is. It's the 20th anniversary of The Room. Yeah, featuring Greg Sestero. Yeah, we meet again. Oh, hi, Mark. Yep, The Room. Oh, yeah, I like the part. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Yeah. Oh, man, but that was unbelievable. You got and it's a nice and autograph by Greg Sestero. So nice of him. Got my early birthday gift. What a beautiful day last Sunday. Yeah, day of screening, day of the 30th anniversary. Yeah, but even though during my 30s, well, that was the last time I saw Impact Wrestling. That's the start of the 30s. And yeah, and that's where Joe became older then, and that's where a year later I start my own blog. That's my 30s, and that's where I became part of the open mic. That's in my 30s. Yep, and years and years growing, and then that's my 30s. That's when and then that's where COVID-19 came along. That's my 30s. Besides being diagnosed with diabetes, that's my 30s. And I still have my learning disability, my mild Asperger's syndrome. And that's my beginnings. Yeah. When I discovered my true diagnosis, that's towards my 20s. Well, kind of my teens, like not in between. Well, and that's had my 20th anniversary reunion. That's my 30s. And I'm still trying to get my rise to fame, and that's my 30s. I'm trying to be on the Kayla Q show with Buzz Adams. That's my 30s. I discovered the State Line Music Series. That's my 30s. And music festivals. That's my 30s. And that's where I first discovered a few things, and that's my 30s. Yeah. And I was a Suns, Heat, Laker fan. Well, that's my team. Cowboys fan. That's that's before teens. And a Chihuahuas fan, well, that's my 30s. Especially a Locomotive fan, that's my 30s. I'm a Miners fan, go Miners, that's my 20s. Yeah. EPCC, that's my 20s. Well, or almost 20, late teens. Yeah. And, but I have a new nephew, James Tennessee Romanello, that's 30s. Now I have two nephews. Now that's still my 30s. Well, and now still my final week. I still listen to the theme 30 something, like back in the 80s. That's years before my teens. I still hear the theme. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what comes next. But as the end of the 30s as the end of the third decade approaches, my third decade, as I'm about to enter the fourth decade. Man, I don't know what the future will hold. Yeah, very funny, Richie. Well, it's not a place to be bold. Whatever the future holds. So we'll have to wait and see. And just let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let's wait and see. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Oh, maybe you're kind of, oh crap. Yeah, kid, you're right. I forgot about that. Oh, well. What will the future will hold? I don't know how it will fold. Okay. All right. Well.
Yo, Dan, you can share, by the way. Go for it.
There we go.
That's what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, here it is. Read it and weep it. I'm still behind on Twitter and Facebook, but I'm still catching up on Instagram. Most importantly, find Dan the Man's Weekly on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and yeah. Again, don't forget the hashtag Dan the Man's Weekly. Oh, what a day. What can I say? This Friday's my birthday. The big 40. No, there's no need to be a hero. So, and Saturday I will have my birthday get together / open mic. So which I'll be hosting. Or so Kit, Robin, if you guys are available, please swing by. I'll send you guys the invite. And Kit, how would you like to take the stage for the poetry mic? Kit? Okay. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, and this BWOMS, my last day of the 30s. So I hope next Monday for my first Monday of the 40s. So yeah, and there goes nothing. So all right, thank you guys, and
Hmm. All right. Thank you, Dan. Hey, you don't have to sound so sad, man. We're gonna celebrate. You're gonna party, all right?
Yeah, this is a good thing, man.
You sound, yeah, you sound so sad while saying it, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna celebrate a full life that you've had so far, and much more to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
40s,
like-
40s are cool.
Yeah, it's like Sage Francis said, the great postmodern rhetorical genius. My 20s were a roar, my 30s were a blur, my 40s I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna make them purr. So.
I like Sage Francis.
All right. Thank you so much. Dan, everyone who performed, shout out to everyone who supported online on the live stream, was checking it out. We look forward to, we'll be back next Monday. Again, you can follow us, Barbed Open Mic, if you have not had a chance to do so already. What else? Oh man, so much to cover. We do have a couple open mics this week. So if you are in the El Paso area, come check us out at Rosewood tomorrow. That is a music and poetry specific open mic. So if that's more your vibe, then come through. Friday, we're going to be at Craft Rhythm and Brews. And it looks like we're going to have a featured artist. Her name is Pao. She's gone a couple times to the open mic. She's a singer-songwriter, but she's been amazing ever since she's been coming out. So I'm like, do you have a whole set? So I think we're going to celebrate her music. It's really fun. But of course, it's open mic. Come on through. That one's more music and poetry oriented as well. And of course, Saturday is Dan the Man's thing. And Monday, we'll be back online. So we will see you guys next Monday. Thank you for tuning in for the live stream. My name is Rich, or Dead Wall Reveries. See you next time. Peace. And